Okay, this video is going to continue my collection update video from last night. I would still have 4 stacks off to my left here that need to be talked about. I also have one of the stacks off to the right on the side of the uh, thing here, on the side of the TV tray. I don't want these falling over. That's what I'm trying to adjust so that I can not have them fall over. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. The first title for this portion of the video, or for this video, is Children of the Corn 2. This one doesn't have a subtitle. It's just Children of the Corn 2. I'll explain why I say it doesn't have a subtitle when we get to the next one, because it does have one. So anyway, here's the front of the case and the back of the case. This one has 2 annoying sticker placements. No insert. And this is a 8-movie Masters of Terror collection, which has a Children of the Corn 3 in it, so I have it sorted under Children of the Corn 3, with the cases at least. So here's a horizontal view, because it usually looks like this, but you can tell what the titles are a little bit more here. And holding it like this, I'll read off what the titles are. And this has the first of the Children of the Corn movies with a subtitle. I believe, no, 2 is supposed to be the Final Sacrifice. Children of the Corn 2, Final Sacrifice. Anyway, so that one did have a subtitle, just not on its individual case. The next case has a subtitle for it. But the titles included in this 8-movie collection are Mortuary, The Hole, Ritual, The 6 Degrees of Helter Skelter. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. The Crow Wicked Prayer from 2005. The Nameless, Children of the Corn 3 Urban Harvest, and Wes Craven Presents They. And that one is PG-13. The rest are, and the rest except for the 6 Degrees title are rated R. The 6 Degrees title says not rated adult situations profanity. So, there we go. With this case, we're just going to talk about the Children of the Corn titles included, because we'll get to the Halloween ones later. But this is a 9-movie collection with 6 Children of the Corn movies and 3 of these. So we have, again, another copy of Children of the Corn 2, The Final Sacrifice, Children of the Corn Urban Harvest, Children of the Corn 4, The Gathering, Children of the Corn 5, Fields of Terror, which is as far as I've seen. Children of the Corn 6, they say 666, but it's the 6th movie to come out. That is Isaac's Return. Virtually not confusing at all. Not this Isaac. And the last Children of the Corn movie in here is Children of the Corn 7 Revelation. Or Revelation, not Revolution. Revelation. Here's the case for that. The 3 Halloween movies included are Curse of Michael Myers, H2O, and Resurrection. That one is Resurrection, not Revelation. My bad. But yeah, I need to revisit Children of the Corn 6 and then watch 7, and then I will have seen the first 7. I think, like I said, I think there's 10 of them. I know there's 2 more, like 8 and 9, and then I think there's like a 2020 something reboot, like I want to say like 2021 or 2022 reboot or something like that. I don't think it's supposed to be a 10th entry in existing continuity. I think it's a fresh continuity or a new one. But anyway, moving on, we have Close Encounters of the Third Kind. This one came in like an anniversary pack type thing, so it has some fancy packaging right here. Here's the back of it before I forget. So it had, I think, just 3 discs. I want to say it was like, maybe, I think this one had, oh yeah, this one had 3 discs. It did. So it had a theatrical cut, special edition, director's cut. My regular version I have another version that I don't have the case for anymore, but it had a disc 1 and like a bonus feature disc type thing. Moving on, up next we have, we'll talk about the bottom title for this one because I have a case for the top one, but we have Cloverfield on Blu-ray. Now I have it dual formatted with DVD and Blu-ray. And Cloverfield is a fun franchise. This first one was supposed to be kind of like a found footage type thing. But I liked it. I thought it was interesting. I don't like what they did to the Statue of Liberty in the picture, or on the picture here. And on the back it shows the head of Lady Liberty right there. But it's a good movie still, I think. Yeah. And since I didn't mention it on that case, here is 10 Cloverfield Lane. I got 2 Blu-ray copies. I want to try and triple format the franchise. But this one is set underground in one of those like nuclear fallout bunkers. So yeah, here's that in the back of the case there. Probably the most oddball entry in this already oddball franchise is the Cloverfield Paradox. Because this one has like time loops stuff, or like it plays with time manipulation stuff. So none of the first 2 don't deal with time discrepancies and whatnot. But this one has the guy that played, or that plays, I'm not sure if he's done yet, but plays Baron Zemo in it. And then it has this guy who was in Thor: The Dark World. He was, what was this character's name? Shoot. Anyway, the guy that Natalie Portman's Jane Foster was at the restaurant before and just kept saying sea bass. Sea bass, sea bass, sea bass, sea bass. That guy. And then here's Zemo. Daniel Burrell. Zemo. But yeah, this one's pretty good. I like all 3 of them. I think this one's I think this and 10 Cloverfield Lane are probably my favorites of the bunch. Just because I like different like time stuff. The description on the back says, orbiting a planet on the brink of war, scientists test a device to solve an energy crisis and end up face to face with a dark alternate reality. Okay, so I guess it's more of a alternate reality type thing, a multiversal type situation, which I really like multiverse stuff, so that still fits. About it. Up next we have Club Dread, Broken Lizard's Club Dread, and it's kind of wacky and bizarre, but in a fun way. they added 15 minutes onto the theatrical runtime, which this version is 118 minutes. With that, I think that would mean that the original one is 103 minutes. But this is the unrated cut, like I said. Yeah. Who's in this thing? I recognize one of the guys, but I don't know his name. Oh wait, Bill Paxton, that's who it is. Bill Paxton's in this one. His is the name that I recognize. It's this guy here. He's also on the back of the thing here. So there we go. Up next we have Cold Creek Manor with Dennis Quaid, Sharon Stone, and Stephen Dorff. I need to watch this one. This one sounds cool. Who else is in this? Kristen Stewart. Anyway, here we are. Trying to alleviate the glare, but it's kind of hard to read what's on here. Anyway, moving on. Next up, we have The Collector. I'll take the slipcover off right now because there's a sticker on the slipcover, but we have The Collector right here, which I believe is the first entry. It's from the writers of Saw 4, 5, and 6. A new horror icon is born, according to Brad Miska on bloodydisgusting.com. Okay then. And this is exactly the kind of film horror fans will delight in discovering, according to Rodney Perkins with twitchfilm.net. Oh, this came out before Saw 6 because it's on the back. It says from the twisted minds behind Saw 4, 5, and the upcoming Saw 6. Interesting. Okay then. So yeah, I think a lot of the same information is on the back of the slipcover. So yeah, it is. But anyway, 90 minutes, not a huge time commitment. And the one I think is the second installment in the franchise is The Collection. Both are pretty good. This one came out in 2012. That one I think was 2009. So maybe there's one more in between this. Maybe there isn't. I'm not entirely certain on that. But this one has a bunch of actors whose names I don't recognize. Okay, well, The Collection. I have seen both of these. I like them both. I'm not sure which one I like more than the other, but they're both pretty good, I guess. And then we have, from the director of Saw and Insidious, we have The Conjuring 1 right here on Blu-ray. It's the only one of the original, I guess, 4. The first 4 actual Conjuring movies that have Conjuring in the title there. This is the only one I have on multi-formatted so far. I also have a couple of the other ones multi-formatted. I have Curse of La Llorona dual formatted as well. But anyway, I want to try and get the entire Conjuring universe triple formatted. And I'm still missing Conjuring 4 and The Nun 2. But anyway, here is my Blockbuster Blu-ray case for the original Conjuring from 2013. Says the Blu-ray came out in 2013. Is that? So, yeah. Up next, we have the Conjuring Trilogy Collection. And the slipcover kind of looks like a case file type thing. And so is the case underneath it. But it has Conjuring 1, 2, and 3, The Devil Made Me Do It, on here. I haven't even seen the fourth one or the Nun 2, but I have seen all the ones that I have. So, here's that. And, yeah. Moving on. Next up, we have Curse of La Llorona. I already said that I mentioned that I have this one dual formatted. I didn't keep the DVD case because I had the Blu-ray case and they look exactly the same. So, here's the Blu-ray case for Curse of La Llorona. And this one does this particular story a lot better than one of my other movies that we'll get to with the horror bundles. This one does a much better job, I think, of telling the Curse of La Llorona story. So this one came out in 2019, it looks like, according to the back of the case here. Up next, we have Annabelle 1. Before The Conjuring, there was Annabelle. So this one technically takes place before the trilogy, but since it came out afterwards, I put it there. And it came out in 2014, it looks like. So, and I believe the first Conjuring movie was 2013, so this one came out a year later, but it's evidently a prequel to the rest of the series. But yeah, here's the case for that. Up next, we have Annabelle Creation, the next chapter in the Conjuring universe. And this is not a Blu-ray copy, but the cover says it's a Blu-ray, but it's just a DVD, which is fine because I'm still working on triple formatting the entire franchise, as I stated a second ago. So here is Annabelle Creation. And then we have Annabelle Comes Home. Welcome to the home of the Conjuring universe. It also has Spanish audio for some reason. So I only know English, so I try not to watch things in foreign languages, even with English subtitles, because I would still get lost. The last of the Conjuring movies that I have, the darkest chapter in the Conjuring universe, The Nun. This one came out in 2018. I've seen it once, and I was kind of confused because I need to revisit it and be like, let's see if I can understand what's going on a little bit better. But I haven't even seen the second one yet, so rewatching this would be fortuitous to hopefully being able to understand the second. So yeah, The Nun. Next up is Tim Burton's Corpse Bride. It's not technically a horror movie, and neither would Nightmare Before Christmas be. However, I think we have Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter in this. It has a skeleton dog and deals with corpses, as the title would suggest. So there we go. And it does say for some scary images and action with brief, mild language. So there we go. What else is in this? It doesn't say. Anyway, moving on. Corpse Bride. Next up, we have The Covenant from the producers of The Underworld. To save the future, they must battle their past. I think this is a werewolf or a vampire story. Oh, witches and warlocks. There we go. It's a sorcery movie. So here we are with The Covenant. And this has Sebastian Stan, aka James Buchanan Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier, aka Bucky, from the MCU in here. He's got a lot of AKAs apparently, just within the MCU. So yeah. Up next we have Cowboys and Aliens. This is the extended Blu-ray edition, which also includes a theatrical DVD from the director of Iron Man. And we have Daniel Craig and Harrison Ford as the two of the cowboy characters that are working together. Directed by Jon Favreau, who's Happy Hogan. I need to rewatch this one and then check out the extended version because I don't remember a whole lot about what happens in this thing. Who else is in this? Sam Rockwell is in it. He was Justin Hammer in the MCU. So yeah, here's that. Poorly placed sticker covering both runtimes, the theatrical and the extended one. But I can easily take this out and reverse the thing, like flip it upside down. Have what's currently the back be over here, and what's currently the front be back here. But anyway, or I could just try and get the sticker off. Either way. Up next is The Creeps, and these are shorter versions of The Mummy, Frankenstein, Werewolf, and Dracula. So yeah, here's this. And not gonna lie, it's actually pretty funny. It's actually more like a horror comedy type thing because it's kind of comedic seeing those horror icons as shorter characters. So yeah, it's pretty funny. Who else in this? Do I recognize any of the names here? No, I do not. Okay then. I guess when I got it and watched it initially, it was for the novelty of having short versions of horror icons. Up next we have Creepshow 2, as scary as anything you're apt to see. Midnight Madness series right here. The case for the first one's actually, I think, with my horror bundles. I'm probably gonna set this one aside and put it with the horror bundles. But anyway, here's that. I want to say the horror bundles that's nearby too is some that have many of my copies of Night of the Living Dead. I have so many copies of the original Night of the Living Dead. Because they just keep coming in horror bundles that I get. So I'm gonna set this one off to the side and put it with the other one, or with the sequel. or with the prequel, I should say, because this one is the sequel. Anyway, moving on. Next up, from producer Sam Raimi and director Alexandra with an E on the end instead of an A. I'm not sure how that would be pronounced exactly. Aha. We have Crawl. Who's in this thing? I don't recognize any of the names on the back of here, other than obviously Sam Raimi. Anyway, I need to check this one out. It looks good, and it's from producer Sam Raimi. So from 2019. Okay. Then I got a cool glow-in-the-dark case for Critters 1 through 4. Critters 2, the main course. Critters 3, You Are What They Eat. And Critters 4, just doesn't have a subtitle. It's this one. So underneath the slip cover, the case looks like this. I wish my slip cover wasn't damaged the way it is, because it makes it kind of tough to put it next to a bunch of other titles, because it's elevated right there at the bottom there. But it's fine. It looks cool, and it's fine. I also have Blu-rays for Critters 1, 2, 3, and 4. And here's the backs of each of those. These are Shout Factory Blu-rays. These ones are all PG-13, which I point out because Critters 5, I'll get to it in just a second, is rated R. Critters 5 attacks, or Critters Attack. This one is rated R and has a slip cover. I'll take that off for a second so you can see more of the case here. See, rated R. The others are PG-13. So this one, just for being rated R, this one's an oddball in the franchise. I didn't even look on the back of these to see if I recognize any of the actors in them. But let's do that real quick before I forget. The first one, I don't recognize any of these names on here. The second one, I still don't recognize any of those names. The third one has Leonardo DiCaprio in it, apparently. And the fourth one, I don't recognize any of the names on the back of number 4. So, out of 4 movies so far, I only recognized one name, and that was Leonardo DiCaprio, which I like some of his stuff. I thought he did well in Titanic and whatnot. I don't recognize any of the names on the back of here. So, okie dokie. That's the end of that stack, so we're going to try and carefully move this next stack over. I don't want these going there. That would be bad. It'd be a big mess and it'd be loud. Anyway, next up we have did I have the other case? Oh, I do have. Okay. So this is the unrated version of Wes Craven's Cursed. This one is a werewolf story. This is, like I said, this is the unrated version. The rated version's coming up later with in a double feature. I decided not to put them right next to each other for some reason. So yeah, here's the Cursed. It is a werewolf story. The theatrical cut is PG-13. This one is obviously not rated because it says unrated version. Clear as day right there. So let's move on. Next up, we have Dark Ride. This is one of the After Dark Horror Fest collection movies. I haven't watched this one yet, I don't think. But a couple of little blurbs on the back here say, a fun and bloody ride. The deaths are pleasantly messy, according to Audrey Quaranta from fangora.com. And then a fun and gory slasher flick, according to slasherpool.com. I don't recognize any of the names on the back of this, per se. But here's the back of the case right there. It includes a little pamphlet that shows the other films in this particular collection. And they are Penny Dreadful, Unrest, The Hamiltons, Reincarnation, Dark Ride, that's this one, Wicked Little Things, The Grave Dancers, and The Abandoned. I think it also shows on the inside. Yeah, the cases for those things. Okay. Anyways, After Dark Horror Fest has a bunch of different collections. This is from one of them. Up next, we have Dark Skies from the producers of Paranormal Activity and Insidious. This is PG-13, like the Insidious franchise is. I wonder if they're going to make an Insidious Chapter 6. They have 5 of them so far. Insidious, Insidious 2, 3, Last Keys, and Red Door. But we'll get to those shortly as well, probably in the next video, because this one doesn't go up to the eye section yet. Anyway, here it is. Dark Skies is a Blu-ray DVD combo. Terrifying, mind-bending thriller, according to Heather Wixson from Dread Central. J.K. Simmons apparently is in this. Oh, that's really cool. There we go. And here's my theatrical cut for Cursed and Dark Water. Dark Water is the one I have this sorted under. That's why it came after Dark Skies, because W comes after S, alphabetically speaking. Both of these ones are PG-13 movies. Dark Water has Jennifer Connelly, Tim Roth. Okay. And then Jesse Eisenberg is in Cursed. I forgot to point that out last time. I showed or a second ago when I showed the title. Yeah. So here we go. I need to check out Dark Water because I've seen the unrated cut of Cursed. I haven't seen the regular PG-13 version. Kind of funny, but oh well. Moving on. Next up, we have The Day After, and I believe that's supposed to be New York. I could be wrong. Let's see. It probably says on the back of the case where this takes place. Oh, it's in a small town in Kansas. Although that explosion could have been in a more populous area like New York. I have seen this, I just don't remember where this particular instance takes place. Who do we got in this thing? I don't recognize any of these names. Okay then. Good movie though. I enjoyed it. 2 hours and 7 minutes. Well spent. Up next we have The Day After Tomorrow. This one looks like it's about a new ice age because that's a lot of ice up on the statue covering most of the statue, which means that that is definitely New York in the background because I also see the Empire State Building and the Chrysler Building. But this one has Dennis Quaid, Jake Gyllenhaal, Ian Holm, Emmy Rossum, and here we go. And then we have the black and white original 1951 version of The Day the Earth Stood Still right here. And is it in black and white? Is it actually in black and white? I don't want to just say that and have it not be accurate. It is in black and white. Okay. Looks kind of cheesy, but a lot of movies back in this time frame were. So I'm excited to check it out, even if it's going to be very cheesy and it's rated G. It's a G-rated horror movie. That is not very common. Of course, that's because it's extremely old. So yeah, I don't think it was rated when it originally came out, but it is now rated G with the renewed 1979 20th Century Fox Corporation thing. So according to Deadpool, Fox or 20th Century Fox can rest in pieces. Rest in pieces, Fox. Up next, we have the remake of the Day the Earth Stood Still with Keanu Reeves. This one came out in 2008. It looks like Jennifer Connelly is in this one. So is Jaden Smith, Kathy Bates, and obviously Keanu Reeves. I already mentioned him being in this. So yeah, this is a blockbuster Blu-ray case, which makes it the size of a regular DVD case. But I'm not bothered by that because I just stack them like this. Stack them horizontally like this, or sometimes usually with the title facing out. If I have the title facing in, like if this is what you see on the shelf, then it's part of my need to know only private collection, and this is not one of those titles. Up next we have another one of those weird cardboard cases that has the envelope sleeve thing inside. This one features Dead Men Walk and The Monster Maker, and it says plus a Magic Mummy cartoon, but the disc itself has a different cartoon listed, which is fine. I didn't really want two of that particular cartoon, so I'm glad that it had its separate one. But here we go. This lady looks like Jessica Jones a little bit from the Marvel Netflix series, and soon to be appearing in Daredevil Born Again Season 2. But here's the back of the case here. It's not in the best condition because this should be like inside there. But this one I open like that instead of from the top like the other one. No, get in there. Okay. But yeah, I don't like this style case, but I'm glad I have the titles. Up next is Dead Silence from the writer and director of Saw. This one came out in 2006 that is. Yeah. It's a weird one. So weird stuff going on here. I like one of those ventriloquist type dolls, as the front of the case would suggest. One I can't find any information on is if it doesn't even exist. We have Rob Lowe's Dead Silent. when I tried looking up the parents guide for this, it kept trying to show me the parents guide for this one. And I'm like, no, this is a different title. So here it is. It's in one of those weird thin cases. I prefer thinner cases like this compared to those cardboard ones, but I'd rather have full width cases or the Blu-ray or 4K style cases. So, but this thin style of case doesn't bother me like the cardboard one right here does. So yeah. I don't even see an indication as to when this. Oh wait, 2000s. That's when this particular company put out this version of it. And it's in color, so yeah, I have no idea when this thing came out, so we're just gonna move on. Up next we have a 4-movie Stephen King collection featuring The Dead Zone Special Collector's Edition, Pet Sematary the Original Special Collector's Edition, Silver Bullet, and Graveyard Shift. I've seen 2 of these, but not the other 2. So here's the case for that. The spine lists the titles again, and here's the back of the case. I've seen Graveyard Shift and Silver Bullet. I haven't seen any of the Pet Sematary movies or The Dead Zone, but I do intend to change that or to fix that. So, yeah, moving on. Up next, we have Death and Cremation. Business is booming at the crematorium. I believe I have watched this one, but I don't remember who's in it. And I don't write it up because I don't recognize any of the names on the back here. Death and Cremation. Moving on. Next up, we have Deep Blue Sea 1. The DVD case is just different enough from the Blu-ray case to warrant having or holding on to both. We got Thomas Jane, Stellan Skarsgård, and Samuel L. Jackson in here. Those 3 people have appeared in various Marvel properties, or at least in one. Thomas Jane was the Punisher in 2004. Stellan Skarsgård was Dr. Eric Selvig in the MCU, and Samuel L. Jackson, obviously, he's Nick Fury in the MCU, as well as he was Mace Windu back in the day, and he steals all the scenes that he's in, as always. He has a great on-screen presence. Yeah, the main difference between the DVD and the Blu-ray case, the Blu-ray or the DVD case says it's rated R for shark attacks and language. Pay attention to the phrasing there, because the Blu-ray case right here, Deep Blue Sea on Blu-ray, says graphic shark attacks and for language, whereas the other one just said shark attacks and language. This one's added 2 words onto it. It added graphic before shark attacks and for before language. So in my mind, that makes it just different enough to hold on to both cases. There we go. Up next, we have Deep Blue Sea 2. I got this one for $1, and I like the entire trilogy. The first 2 have kind of similar settings. Let's see if it says on the back of the first one. An undersea water or undersea laboratory. This one has a similar type location for it. This one doesn't have any recognizable names or names that I recognize. At least they're probably recognizable to other people, but I personally do not recognize any of the names, but I enjoyed all three movies in the franchise. And here's the third one. This one has a unique setting because it's on kind of like one of those man-made island environment type things instead of a research facility type setting like the first two. For that reason, it is a unique setting compared to the others, as I keep saying. And yeah, this one I believe I switched out the Blu-ray case for this one with one of my Batman cases I was able to get rid of when I got the was it 75 year Batman Blu-ray collection, I think. When I got that collection, a bunch of my other Batman cases were able to get tossed, so I switched the busted case for this one with one of those cases, and now this one, I mean, it's still a little bit busted, but it's not like splitting in half every time I open it, which the other one was. So here we go. Fun little side story for there. Up next, we have The Departed with Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson, and Mark Wahlberg. I recognize all four of those actors' names because I've seen them in lots of things. It's a Martin Scorsese movie. Martin Sheen is also in it, and so is Vera Farmiga. I have no idea how to pronounce her name. And Alec Baldwin. I wish I knew how to pronounce her name because I keep butchering it, but I have a lot of things that she has been in. How do you pronounce that? I don't know. But I haven't checked out the movie yet, but it has a very stacked cast. And from what I gather, it's on the shorter side to a bunch of Martin Scorsese's movies. This one's 151 minutes. A lot of his are closer to 3 hours or slightly over 3 hours even. So I need to check that one out. This next double feature, I've seen half of the ones included. I've seen the first one that I'm going to mention here, which is Descendant, which is where this is placed alphabetically after, and then we have Roman. I haven't seen Roman yet, but I have seen Descendant. It's about a descendant of Edgar Allan Poe, who he's tormented from being related to Edgar Allan Poe, and then starts behaving like a bunch of the characters in Edgar Allan Poe's stories. I'll read what it says here. As Anne Hedgerow, Katherine Hagel from Grey's Anatomy, an indirect descendant of Edgar Allan Poe, begins to explore her family's past. She meets novelist Ethan Poe, the one that ends up going crazy, and played by Jeremy London. Ethan, also a direct descendant of Poe, is tormented by visions of his famous ancestor. When Anne and Ethan begin a romance, the dark and deadly secrets of Poe's legacy emerge. Will Poe's stories inspire a real-life horror tragedy? And it's as entertaining as that description sounds. I haven't seen Roman, which it has Christian Bale in it from Frozen's 1 and 2, as well as the series Heroes. I believe she showed up as an electrical character in that. And she's been in a bunch of other stuff as well, but those are the things that come to mind immediately when I think of her, especially Frozen, because I love Frozen. But yeah, the description for this one makes it sound pretty good too. It says, when an encounter with the beauty next door goes horribly wrong, a moment of desperation triggers a chilling turn of events. For a reclusive social misfit, his grisly secret is then jeopardized by an eccentric neighbor who forces herself into his dark and tortured world, starring Christian Bale, Nectar Rose, and Lucky McKee. So that sounds pretty dang interesting if you ask me. So yeah, I definitely need to check out Roman. Up next we have The Descent, original unrated cut. I don't know if there's a theatrical cut, but a theatrical cut would have definitely been rated R because it's very bloody and they swear quite a bit. So yeah, here's this, and here's the back. I'm going to go ahead and read the description on here again. It says, on an annual extreme outdoor adventure, 6 women meet in a remote part of the Appalachians to explore a cave hidden deep in the woods, far below the surface of the earth. Disaster strikes when a rockfall blocks their exit, and there's no way out. The women push on, praying for another exit, but there is something else lurking under the earth. The friends are now prey, forced to unleash their most primal instincts in an all-out war against an unspeakable horror, one that attacks without warning, again and again and again, which sounds really cool. And it was a pretty cool movie. I enjoyed it a good bit. I don't recognize any of the names on the back of the case, but it's such a good movie. I enjoyed it. Up next, we have Harrison Ford and Brad Pitt in The Devil's Own. I haven't seen this one yet. Harrison Ford and Brad Pitt star in this harrowing thriller about an IRA gunman who draws an American family into the crossfire of terrorism. What else is in this? Okay, so Brad Pitt and Harrison Ford are the only names that I recognize from this. And they're not even credited on the back of the case here, other than at the top where it says a riveting, hard-boiled thriller. Harrison Ford and Brad Pitt shine, according to Neil Rosen, NY1. Powerful and exciting. Ford and Pitt are superb. Paul Vunder, WBAI. So, moving on. Next up, we have The Devil's Rejects by Rob Zombie, and I recognize one of these guys from other Rob Zombie titles. The guy in the middle I recognize from other things. He was in House of a Thousand Corpses, which we'll get to shortly. I think in the next stack. He was in 31, which we already covered at the beginning of the horror movie section. And yeah, I don't. Cherry Moon Zombie is in this. I believe that's either Rob Zombie's wife or his daughter or something like that. Yeah, I don't know what this guy's name is, but he's in a few of them, a few of the Rob Zombie movies. So here we go. The second disc is 30 Days in Hell, The Making of the Devil's Rejects. I don't know a lot else to say about that. Next up is a PG horror movie, and that is Alfred Hitchcock's Dial M for Murder. It came out, looks like in 1955. Is this a color movie or is it in black and white? That I don't know. It looks like maybe black and white. Although this could be a colorized version. Because this picture definitely looks like black and white. This one looks like it could be in color. And the front of the case, this looks like it could be in color. But I'm not sure if it is actually color or not. It's not giving me any indication. Oh wait, it is in color. It says color / 105 minutes. So this is probably a colorized version of an original black and white movie, where I imagine it was probably in black and white initially, because it came out 5 years before the original Psycho, and that was in black and white, also by Alfred Hitchcock. That's why I used that specific example. But this one's PG, whereas the original Psycho is rated R. All of them are. But yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool to see a colorized version of the original Psycho, because 2, 3, 4, and the remake, as well as the Bates Motel type story, are all in color, and the original Psycho is the only one that's in black and white. But it'd be cool to see a colorized version. Another great Psycho franchise property is Bates Motel seasons 1 through 5. That show seems to have gotten better as it got better as it went along. And they kind of have their own Psycho 1 type situation in season 5 with a very surprising twist that separates it from the rest of the franchise as its own thing. If you've seen the entire series, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I don't want to spoil it for you. I may have already spoiled it in a previous video, but anyway. Next up, we have Disturbia with Shia LaBeouf and it's a poorly placed sticker because I can't see who else is in this thing. Darn it. Maybe it says higher up in here, further up in the description or something. Nope, it doesn't. How dare it? Okay, well, here we go. I want to try and get a Blu-ray for it. My original copy was an HD DVD, and then I was like, wait, why can I not play this? So I had to get a regular DVD because HD DVDs only work in HD DVD players. Go figure. Not very helpful. Next up, we have Don't Say a Word. Michael Douglas stars in this one, as well as Sean Bean, Brittany Murphy. Yeah, those are the names I recognize. Came out in 2001. So yeah, here's that. It's rated R, which it's a horror movie. That's not super surprising. Most horror movies are rated R or unrated. Speaking of unrated, this one was originally rated R, and that is Doomsday. Mankind has an expiration date. Not Avengers Doomsday. This is a completely different thing. If I'm talking about Avengers Doomsday, I'll be sure to say Avengers Doomsday or Marvel's Doomsday. But this is a Doomsday movie. I don't recognize any of the names on the back of here, and it's very graphic, very graphically violent. And let's just say they have very sophisticated motion tracking weapons that end up making a mess in the movie. Next up, we have Double Jeopardy with Tommy Lee Jones and Ashley Judd. I'm going to be perfectly honest. When I first got this movie, I thought it was going to be like the game show. Because I saw Double Jeopardy. I'm like, oh, Jeopardy, that's cool. Let's check that out. And I wasn't disappointed. I was like, wait, this is an action thriller? Oh, okay, cool. So yeah. Here's Double Jeopardy. Not to be confused with the game show. Up next we have Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman, Winona Ryder, Anthony Hopkins, and Keanu Reeves. This is a really strange role for Keanu Reeves in particular because he seems like he's out of his element with this. but overall, it's an enjoyable Dracula movie. The next two I haven't seen yet, but this one I have seen, and I enjoyed it. It was good. So did I see? Oh, never mind. I thought I saw another famous actor's name on there, but I was mistaken. Okay. Up next is Dracula the Dark Prince, and this one came out in 2000, whereas this one is 1997. It looks like, or 92. Looks like it was originally came out in 92, and this particular copy came out or was released in 97. So I put these ones in release order, not knowing whether there's a continuity order between the three, but we have Dracula Dark Prince. This one is rated R, like you'd expect a horror movie to be. Rated R for specifically violence. So here we go. Up next, we have Dracula Untold. This one's PG-13. It has Luke Evans in here. Who else is in this? I don't recognize any of the other names on here. Okay then. It's an origin story for Dracula, set in 1462. So here we go. Dracula Untold. Up next, we have Classic Suspense, 9 classic episodes collection here. And I'll read the names of the episodes off of the back here. And like where they're from. We have black and white and color, so some of them are color, some of them are black and white, it looks like. And we have Adventure of Sherlock Holmes, The Case of the Texas Girl, the Cowgirl, Dragnet, The Big Crime, Gangbusters, The Odell Griffin Case, My Hero, Beauty and the Beast, Lockup, The Case of Tom Fuller, Decoy, Shadow of Van Gogh, Lights Out, Curtain Call, Captain Gallant, The Buried Box, One Step Beyond, Emergency Only. Those are the ones that are featured here. I just read off these. 225 minutes, black and white and color, as I stated before. Has one of those weird thin cases, but that doesn't bother me. What does bother me is that it's kind of starting, it's another one of those that's kind of starting to split in half. So we're just going to move on from that now. Up next is The Domestics. Got it for $1. Who's in this? Anyone that I would recognize the names of? I recognize one of the guy's faces, but I don't know his name. Good people don't survive. Or good people didn't survive. They did. I'm guessing they is the bad guys. But I recognize this guy, but I don't know his name. I don't know what his character's name in this is, or I might be able to figure out what his actual actor's name is. Anyway, moving on. That is The Domestics. Next stack, we got 2 more for the stacks for this video. Up next, we have Doppelganger. This I have watched. It is pretty interesting. It's starring Drew Barrymore in 2 roles. She plays her character's regular role and her and her murderous doppelganger type thing. And according to this, the way to defeat your doppelganger is to overwhelm them with positive feelings. I'm not sure why the screen just darkened like that, and now it's lighting up again. Weird. But anyway, here we go. It doesn't say it on the back of the case, but it's rated R. Does it say in the middle, inside? No. Okay. Canadian home ratings gave it an 18A, which is what they would give slightly more hard R titles. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Interesting stuff. Up next is a trilogy collection, From Dusk Till Dawn 1, 2, and 3. Here's the icons on the front there. On the back we have From Dusk Till Dawn, From Dusk Till Dawn 2, Texas Blood Money, and From Dusk Till Dawn 3, The Hangman's Daughter. 2 and 3 both came out in 1999. Wow. And the first one came out in 1996. This series has Danny Trejo, George Clooney, or at least the first one. It says Danny Trejo and George Clooney, Quentin Tarantino. Actually, I'm not seeing the name Danny Trejo on here, but I do see his face. I'm pretty sure this is Danny Trejo. So maybe he's listed in a couple of the other ones, but I'm pretty sure he's in all of them. Robert Rodriguez movie doesn't necessarily mean he's in it though. The second one does say Danny Trejo. So, like I said, I'm pretty sure he's in all three of them. But these are ones that I need to check out again. I watched the first one, but it was a long time ago, so I gotta revisit it and see if it makes any sense to me. So yeah, we're just gonna move on because I'm not finding the information that I want to on there. Next up is After Dark Horror Fest 3 collection, Dying Breed. That looks creepy right there. But there we go. I believe this is a cannibalism story. It is. So the description says, on a quest to find a rare tiger, 4 adventurers in Tasmania enter an isolated township named Sarah. Once the hideout of an infamous cannibal called the Pie Man, the 4 hunters suddenly become the hunted as they discover that the township still upholds the cannibalistic heritage and needs fresh stock to breed. Gross. I have seen this one. It's pretty nasty, some of the stuff they do. But here you go. Does this one have a guide to other ones in the collection? It sure does. And it has another. Okay, so that's the list from the previous one that we mentioned already. So other ones in other After Dark Horror Fest movies, which leads me to believe there's more than just 3 of them, because I have like 3 or 4 different titles that have After Dark Horror Fest 3 on them, and they have completely different titles listed as being included. This one includes Borderland, Unearthed, which I have, Tooth and Nail, Nightmare Man, Lake Dead, The Death of Ian Stone, Mulberry Street, which I have, and Crazy Eights. I want to get the rest of those. Those each sound pretty good. Moving on, up next we have Emily, The Babysitter Is Here. Do I recognize any names on here? I do not. I do not recognize any of these names. It's a 2015 horror movie. Not rated, but I haven't watched it yet, so I can't say whether or not it would deserve an R rating or not. But probably because it's a horror movie. But there are but there are some horror movies that are not rated R that are still really good, like Five Nights at Freddy's 1, which we'll get to shortly. I haven't seen the second one yet, but the first one's very good and it's PG-13. Next up, we have End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger. This one came out in, looks like 1999 or 2000, one of the two. The DVD release was probably 2000, and the 1999 is probably when it hit theaters. But let's see, who else is in this other than Arnold Schwarzenegger that I might recognize the name of? Just him. Okay then. I have seen this one. It's just been a long time. But it's got a bunch of production notes on the inside of the little pamphlet here. But I'm not going to go over that. I might go over that in another video at some point, but not right now. It's long. It's the entire inside of the pamphlet, so like both sides have stuff spelled out in there. Up next, we have Enemy of the State with Gene Hackman and Will Smith. Who else is in this? Anyone? Regina King is in it, and those three names are the only ones I recognize. Oh wait, Jon Voight. Is that Angelina Jolie's father? Probably. Maybe. Could be. I think so. But anyway, here we go. Or Mr. Sir. There's that. Dynamite Thriller. Hence the placings with the horror movies because I have thrillers in here as well. Next up, we have Enough with Jennifer Lopez. This one is another PG-13 one. And who else is in this? With Noah Wyle is in it. He's cool to see in things. But yeah, this is a really, really good movie. Very solid film. Next up is The Evil Dead. This is the original one. This is a not rated version, I believe, just because of how gory and creepy it was, that it was a NC-17 when it originally came out. Same with Evil Dead 2. But again, that was just because they were too creepy and gory to be justified by an R rating. They aren't like super sexually explicit or anything like that. We got Bruce Campbell in here. He plays Ash something or other. Let's see. I don't know Ash's last name. I've seen most of the franchise. Like I've seen most of the movies except for Evil Dead Rise, and I haven't seen any of this series, but I have seen the Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, and the Evil Dead remake and Evil Dead Rise. I look forward to Evil Dead Burn later this year, but it doesn't say what Ash's last name is on the case. Does it maybe say in the thing here? No. Let's see if it says in this little pamphlet. Doesn't seem to. Darn. Come on now. Where? Looks like it has one of the original posters for the movie inside here. That's kind of cool. Come on, where the heck is... Where does it say Ash's name? I'm not seeing where it says the last name of Bruce Campbell's character, Ash. Darn. The Book of the Dead thing that's used to reanimate the dead in this can be spotted in Friday the 13th 9, Jason Goes to Hell. That was a way for the directors and producers of the movies to loosely connect this franchise to Friday the 13th, which would make, I think it's called the Necronomicon. Is that right? Anyway, it's in Jason Goes to Hell, which it was their way of saying that Jason Voorhees is one of the living dead, which honestly that makes a lot of sense because he's really tough to kill, just like the Evil Dead are. So I'm hoping that becomes like an actual yeah, we were trying to connect these franchises. They are in fact connected. I hope that's the case because that would be so cool. I'll look on the back of these other cases and see if it says what Ash's last name is. But moving on, we're spending too much time on the original Evil Dead. Up next is Evil Dead 2, which I have a Blu-ray of. I'm not sure if the Blu-ray actually works or not, but we'll get to that in just a second. I know my DVD works because that's the copy I watched when I watched it initially. But this one, again, was originally NC-17 because it's super gory and creepy. I apologize for my dogs barking in the background. It severely bothers me when they do that. It's just like, why can't they just be good and be quiet? In my mind, the two are synonymous when it comes to pets. But anyway, let's see if this gives us what Ash's last name is. No, it doesn't seem to. Let's take it. It also has kind of a postcard that shows the thing here. I kind of wanted the same right there. Little postcard thing. But in the chapter selection, it doesn't say what Ash's name is. It does, or his last name anyway. I know his first name's Ash because it says Ash right here. Ash the Demon on scene 17. Anyway, I also have a Blu-ray copy with this slipcover that shows this underneath. The back of the case is the same as the slipcover, but I'll go ahead and show it because I didn't show the back of the slipcover. Even the Blu-ray version doesn't say what Ash's last name is. Dang. Oh well. And up next we have Army of Darkness, aka Deadite. That's what the zombies are called, the Deadites. Anyway, sorry I got sidetracked. So Jason Voorhees is apparently a Deadite. Evil Dead 3, aka Army of Darkness. It's wacky, it's fun. It's set in it looks like a medieval time frame, where he's the only modern character in it for the duration of the movie. Came out in 1992. Necron. Oh, I was right. Necronomicon. That's what the book is called. Cool. That was a lucky guess. Once again, he's playing Ash, but it doesn't say the last name of the character for some reason, which is pretty irritating, not gonna lie. But anyway, good movie. Really good movie. This one is both a reboot and a sequel at the same time. It's what you would call a requel, or what I call a requel, because Ash does show up at the very end in like a post-credit sequence. And this one, Evil Dead 3: Army of Darkness was the first one to officially get an R rating. This one also has an R rating. Here we go. But Ash does show up in the end of the movie. So yeah, it's kind of, like I said, a requel, where it's kind of a reboot, kind of a sequel, because of Ash showing up at the end. And it has a cool image on the inside that's very creepy. I forgot that have that picture in there. But anyway, moving on. Next up, we have Ash vs. Evil Dead seasons 1, 2, and 3. My season 3 one. I did get like a all 3 season DVD collection. So I have 2 DVD copies of the first season, 1 of the second, and 2 of the third. I also got them individually. And I have a Blu-ray steelbook for season 2. I want to try and dual format the show and triple format the movies. But anyway, the show's TVMA, which makes sense for an R-rated franchise being turned into a TV show. Does it say what his last name is, or am I going to have to watch the movies again to find out what Ash's last name is? I have an Evil Dead video game. Maybe that'll tell me what the last name of Ash is. Because I'm starting to get frustrated trying to figure out what his last name is. His character's last name. I know it's Bruce Campbell, but not knowing what his character's name is starting to bug me. I want to say I watched the pilot episode of this, so I have an idea of what the series is like. My youngest brother has seen the entire series, but for the life of me, I cannot remember what Ash. I want to say it's like Ash Williams, but I don't think that's right. Then season 2 is a fancy steelbook, with that on the inside. I love steelbooks; they're so cool. And then we have season 3 here. This is the third and final season. It always just calls him Ash. What the heck? Oh well. I can't say a whole lot about the series because I've only seen the pilot episode. So I have the entire series now. I just need to, find motivation to watch it. Probably when I rewatch the series in preparation for Evil Dead Burn. I'll also need to give this an official watch through because I've seen some of it, but I didn't watch all the way through because it got late and I was falling asleep, so I turned it off. And then when I forgot it was in my DVD player the next day when I tried watching something else. So I lost my spot. But yeah, I don't remember if Ash shows up in this one or if this is a Sam Raimi product to begin with. But that face is creepy, as is the one on this hanging out in on the wall there. I think that's the same character. Probably she becomes the Deadite, or one of the first Deadites in this. Like I said, I haven't seen this one all the way through, so I need to give it a proper first time viewing, technically. Moving on. Next up, we have The Exorcism of Emily Rose. This is the unrated version. The original is PG-13. I have seen the original in thrift shops before, but I haven't picked it up yet because I was paying attention to getting other things at the time. But here we go. Oh, excuse me. Up next, we have Exorcist: The Beginning. This is one of two prequel, or two cuts of the same prequel, essentially. They ended up releasing them both. And we'll get to the other one in just a second. It says the prequel to The Exorcist, the scariest movie of all time. This one and the other one have Stellan Skarsgård in it. And I think his is the only. Oh, James D'Acy. James D'Acy was Jarvis in both Avengers Endgame, like Butler Jarvis, not AI Jarvis, or not user interface Jarvis, UI, who became Vision. But he was the physical, like 1940s to Vision from, or not Vision, Jarvis, Edwin Jarvis in Agent Carter and the 1970s branch timeline of Avengers Endgame Time Heist, the Time Heist portion. So I didn't realize he was in this. That's really cool, actually. That's a really cool connection. It seems like Marvel is trying to canonize at least Agent Carter, because a lot of stuff from either What If, The Time Heist, or other newer Marvel properties have kind of canonized segments of the Agent Carter series, which sadly only had 2 seasons. It had a cliffhanger for a third one at the end of season 2, but wasn't renewed for the third season, which is a crying shame and should be picked up soon by Marvel Studios. If you're listening to if you're watching my video, please put out Agent Carter season 3. Such a great series. Up next is Dominion, prequel to The Exorcist. I want to say I put these in release order, or these two in release order. Nope, they both came out in 05, it looks like. Okay, well, anyway. This one also has Stellan Skarsgård in it. This time, his is the only name that I recognize on the back of the case. But not the best Exorcist movie. Neither is Exorcist: The Beginning. But one that is very, very good is the original. And I have 3 different cuts. This is the case for the extended director's cut because it has a normal case, whereas the other 2 have these weird, like, paper cases. I'll show you in a second. Or 2 of the other ones have those weird paper cases. Very good, very classic movie. They do some disturbing things in here. But yeah, this is, like I said, the extended cut, extended director's cut. I also have one that's called The Version You've Never Seen, which only applies until you actually watch it, because now I have seen it, so it's just a version that I have seen. And it has the same runtime, I believe, as the director's cut here, 132 minutes, but it is not the same as the director's cut. It does have different material to warrant it being 2 different versions from the original theatrical cut, which I also do have. But yeah, so here's that. Up next, we have Exorcist II: The Heretic. I think this one's, of the original 3, I think this one is the biggest dud of the series. Linda Blair is in here again, as well as James Earl Jones. but again, I don't like this style of case because this can easily get caught on other cases, and then I don't like paper cases like this. I prefer cases like this. So this, as well as the cardboard case like this, bug me. And they make the stacks look weird because you have to try and rest the stuff on top of the thing instead of right alongside it because it could get caught on it. This one is the Exorcist 3 Legion. And I thought this one it wasn't as good as the original, but it is still pretty good, in my mind at least. I don't think Linda Blair is in this one. I think it has a whole new, or a completely new cast. Yeah, I don't see Linda Blair's name on here. Anyway, I enjoyed this version. Not the case, obviously, because I just talked about why I don't like these paper cases, but I do like the movie itself. And then the most recent Exorcist movie is Exorcist, technically 4, because yeah, technically this would be 4 because the first 3 are listed 1, 2, and 3, and the other 2 are prequels. But Exorcist 4, The Believer. I also have a cool 4K Blu-ray Steelbook, but we'll get to that in just a second. The reason I kept both cases here is because this one has the runtime on it, and it has a cool design on it as well. So, this one came out in 2023, and instead of one possessed daughter, this one has 2 separate families having possessed daughters, as you can tell by there being 2 creepy looking girls on the front of the case here. And it's pretty good. I enjoyed it. Not everyone enjoyed this version, but I personally enjoyed it. Right here. And I actually got the DVD after I got the Steelbook. I got them both at the same place. But here's the Steelbook, and here's the inside, which is a better look at the cover for the original one, or the regular DVD cut. I mean, because it shows the same picture as the front of the DVD case, which is covered by the sticker, which is irritating. I don't like that, but I also like the back design here. Like I said, I love Steelbook cases. They are super cool. I want to get a lot more Steelbooks. Oops, that almost fell off. Up next, we have The Eye with Jessica Alba. She was the early 2000s Invisible Woman for Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. This came out in 2008, so after she was done being the Invisible Woman, because Rise of the Silver Surfer was 2007. And I think hers is the only name I recognize on the back of the case here. Jessica Alba. So, I have not seen this one yet. It's another one of those PG-13 horror movies, which aren't super prevalent. And there aren't a ton of PG-13 or lower horror movies. Most of them are rated R. But next up we have the Fallen Angel trilogy with Legion, Priest, and Gabriel. I'm not sure what the proper way or what the proper order to watch them is. I'm guessing probably Gabriel, followed by Legion, and ending with Priest. But that's going based on release year, because Gabriel's released 2007, Legion 2010, and Priest 2011. So far I have seen Legion because I have a individual copy of that right here. But but I don't, again, not knowing the order to watch these in, I don't know if this one, if I watch this out of order or not. But anyway, it has Paul Bettany, or two of these, at least two of these have Paul Bettany in it, and he is Vision, the other, or the user interface Jarvis. Who else is in this one? Maybe that's clear to see on this one. Dennis Quaid, who sounds and looks a lot like Harrison Ford in this. The guy that played the Blob in X-Men Origins, Wolverine, is in here. He's this guy. I don't know the actor's name, but I remember he was Blob in X-Men Origins. Fred Dukes, the character Fred Dukes. Anyway, I believe Paul Bettany is in all three. No, he's in Gabriel or Priest and Legion. So it looks like he was not in the Gabriel movie. Priest is the only one that's PG-13. The other two are rated R. That's interesting. Anyway, moving on. Next up, we have Fatal Attraction with Michael Douglas and Glenn Close. It says one night stands can be murder. And yeah, that's it's just shy of 2 hours. It's 119 minutes, and 2 hours would be 120. But yeah, I need to find a DVD for this because this was a standalone Blu-ray. I also want to get I'll finish that statement in just a second. Up next, we have Fatal, which is a Blu-ray DVD combo with Hilary Swank. I want to get Femme Fatale, which I would put actually I would put Femme Fatale before this one, I think, but I'm not sure if that's proper to do. I would be basing that on Femme Fatale coming out before this one. This one came out 2021. I don't know when Femme Fatale came out, but it was before then. So yeah, moving on to our last stack for this video. We're an hour and 38 minutes in. We have Fear with Mark Wahlberg and Reese Witherspoon. Those are the two names that I recognize. So yeah, here's the back of the case, by the way. Then we have Fear.com. I don't recognize any of the names listed on the front of the case, but maybe I recognize someone's name on the back. Nope, I do not. Okay then. So it's another one of those annoying paper cases that could get like stuck on something else. There we go. Moving on. Next up, we have Final Girl, and this one's pretty good. It's about a guy that teaches this little blonde girl here how to very violently protect herself if she were to be taken advantage of. Which usually the final girl, or like that type of character, is generally the sole survivor of a slasher movie that manages to either kill the slashers or like defeat them, or escape, but she engineers her own escape by the training that she receives. So, yeah. Up next, we have Drew Barrymore, Firestarter. This is the original Firestarter. The reboot is also pretty good. I like both versions. I think this might have been one of Drew Barrymore's first movies. I say one of, not definitively is her first movie, but it is one of her earlier movies from 1984. Based on how young she looks on the case there, she looks like she's still a child. Her character, she's playing an 8-year-old character. Oh, wait. Charlene Charlie McGee, 8-year-old Drew Barrymore stars as the child. So the actress was 8, so this could have been her first appearance, honestly, if she was 8 at the time. Up next, we have the Firestarter reboot, and this one is actually pretty good. It has Zac Efron in it. Take the slipcover off for a second. The case looks the same as the slipcover, but the slipcover doesn't show who all's in this. Like the name, like the cast feature here. This is not present on the slipcover. Has an alternate ending. This version of the character is turning 11. And I want to say the title character is portrayed by Marion Kira Armstrong. It came out in 2022. I believe I saw this one in theaters with my friend Perry. Perry's a great guy. But yeah, Firestarter, the reboot, which I personally enjoyed, and so did he. So next up, we have Flight of the Living Dead. Outbreak on a plane. At 30,000 feet, there's nowhere to run. And I think this is a really fun little zombie movie. It's a lot more close quarters because it's on an airplane. And it's pretty dang good. I don't recognize any of the names listed on the back of the case here, but for a lot of names that I personally don't recognize, they did a phenomenal job. Up next, we have Five Nights at Freddy's Night Shift Edition Blu-ray slipcover. I used to play the computer game versions. I think up through the 5th game, I want to say. The 2nd game freaked me out the most because of Foxy's jump scare in that, where if you weren't paying close enough attention, it would lunge out of the screen at you, and that was the only one that that was the only jump scare that majorly freaked me out. The first time I flew backwards in the chair that I was sitting in, and I was like, so Foxy's jump scare just scared the crap out of me, and now I'm down here. Hi, how's it going? But it was actually quite funny, my reaction to it. For comparison's sake, in the original Five Nights at Freddy's game, or the first one that came out, Foxy's jump scare, he'll come down the hall, and then he just goes "Hello, you're dead now." He just sticks his head in and leans to the side like this, and it's like, how do you go from that to jumping up at the screen? I don't get it. Anyways, it went from a fairly basic opening oh, hello, you're dead now, to the big old jump scare that scared the crap out of me. I call it the mega scare. Anyway, I haven't seen the second one yet, but this one is very, very good. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. It has Matthew Lillard, who played Stu Macher and Shaggy in Scream and Scooby-Doo, respectively. It has Josh Hutcherson, And actually, those are the only two names that I recognize on the back of here, so that's all I have to say about that. But I really want to get the second one. It should be out on physical media by now. I want to triple format as many of these as they end up making because I love this movie. This is great. Moving on. Next up, we have Forest of the Living Dead, and I wish it was a scene that you see in the movie where someone has a bunch of vines looking like Swamp Thing a little bit there, but that's not the case. But it's still a really good movie, I think. A really good, early solid B movie. Yeah, yeah, it's good. Check it out if you can find it. Up next, we have Frantic and Presumed Innocent under F for Frantic. Because it's the one I saw first on the case, and I was like, oh, Harrison Ford's in both of these. Frantic starts with an F. This starts with a P, Presumed Innocent. The discs are separated. Like, this one is sorted under F, this one's sorted under P. But, yeah. Both are rated R, I think. If I'm not mistaken, because it just shows an R, it doesn't say all films rated R. But, anyway, there we go. Moving on, we have a ultra thin case again for Frankenstein Fest double feature. And like the case would imply, you'd think these are animated, but they are live action, because if you look at the back, you see live action things right there for Jesse James Meets Frankenstein's Daughter, 1965, in color. And The Monster Maker, which I want to say that was one of the ones that we got back here, but from 1944 in black and white. Between the two of them, they are 2 hours and 40 minutes. I don't recognize any of the names listed under the starring section or the direct names of the directors. But then again, I don't really expect to because it's from 1944 and 1965. I was invented in 1999. So there we go. Next up, we have The Revenge of Frankenstein, which the title is covered by a sticker, so I'll show the side of the case for that. But I haven't watched this version yet because it is a sequel to a previous one. It's a sequel to The Curse of Frankenstein from 1957, and this one came out in 58. So I at least need to get one more before I watch this one. I need to get The Curse of Frankenstein from Hammer and before I watch this one. So I guess what's the guy's name? Peter Cushing, aka Grand Moff Tarkin in Star Wars: A New Hope, plays Frankenstein in this. He takes the place of Boris Karloff, who played him in the Universal Classic Monsters collection. But yeah, there he is, Grand Moff Tarkin. Anyway, there's at least one more before this, so I gotta get that before watching this. So I can't say if it's a good movie or not because I haven't seen it. This one I have seen, however, Robert De Niro in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and the monster design for this one, it's a bit weird because they don't have the bolts in the neck or the flat top that you usually associate with, like, it doesn't have this type of look to it where you've got kind of the flat stitched on head and the neck bolts right there. Not present in this version. It is a good story though. I do enjoy the movie itself, but we have Helena Bonham Carter, Ian Holm, of course, Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro plays the monster. It's a good movie. It just it lacks the iconic look for Frankenstein, like I thought it was gonna have. Which for coming out in 1994, it should have been able to have that type of thing, because even the original version from the 30s with Boris Karloff had the neck bolts and the top, like I showed in or like the flat top looking head, which the leader is also supposed to have that type of head in the MCU or like the Marvel universe, but the MCU version made him look a lot more grotesque and weird. Anyway, good movie. Just monster design's a little bit lacking. This version does have the neck bolts, but he also has a weird looking head. And this one also gender swaps Frankenstein. This one and is set in modern time. This one is Victoria Frankenstein instead of Victor Frankenstein. And she is trying to keep her own son alive as the monster. Like the reason she made the monster is to keep her son alive. And the bolts that they put in the neck in this one are to control the character so it doesn't go on a murderous rampage, which doesn't work all that well. But if you've seen the movie, you'll know it doesn't work all that well when they try doing that. So, and we have Helen McCurry. If that name doesn't sound familiar to you, but you're a Harry Potter fan, that is Mrs. Malfoy, Narcissa Malfoy. This version came out, it looks like 2007, so before she was in Harry Potter. Although not too far before it. Anyway, really good version. Up next is Freaky Killer Switch Edition, where Vince Vaughn is a serial killer in the body of Catherine Newton, because they have one of those. It's a Freaky Friday slasher, and the description here says from Blumhouse, brought you Happy Death Day. Things get freaky at Blissfield High when 17-year-old Millie, Catherine Newton, swaps bodies with an infamous serial killer, Vince Vaughn, or played by Vince Vaughn. And there is a sequence that I'm not particularly fond of. I'm not going to go into too much detail about what that is. It's just I don't like one particular scene in this, because it's not my vibe, but that's okay. I do like the movie itself overall. It's technically Freaky Friday's fourth installment, because you have the original one, you have the one with Lindsay Lohan, you have a 2018 musical version, then this one, and then Freakier Friday, which also has Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis in it. But none of those ones are even horror adjacent. So I have this one under horror, and I have the original and the Lindsay Lohan version, not Freakier Friday or the musical one yet. I haven't tracked those down yet. I do intend to get them. I intend to triple format this one and dual format the rest. But I don't have a case for the Lindsay Lohan version. I have a case for the original. But I have it with the G through PG-13 titles, so we'll get there eventually. But I'm spending too much time talking about these. We're already close to 2 hours. We're at an hour 54. I gotta pick up the pace because it cuts off automatically at 2 hours and 30 minutes, or thereabouts. Up next, we have Freeway. This is the first one. There is a sequel with Kiefer Sutherland and Reese Witherspoon. And it's good. I don't remember very many specifics, but I remember it was a very good movie. So there you go. Up next, we have Frenzy. This is one of those shark attack type movies. And I thought it was pretty good. Who's in here? Oh, I don't recognize the names actually. Never mind. But good shark movie, very solid. And then I retained the DVD of this because the Blu-ray wouldn't work no matter what I tried. But this is the reboot of Fright Night from 2011. It looks like it has Colin Farrell. It has David Tennant and those two guys are the only two that I recognize the names of. So there you go. Then I have Fright Night 2 New Blood. This one I only bothered getting the Blu-ray or the DVD of because I figured it probably wouldn't work like the original if I got the Blu-ray. So yeah, this one's about it has a female antagonist, as you can tell from here, and I believe these are vampire stories. Yeah, they are. They're vampire stories. Okay. Next up, I'm trying to get through the rest of these before it cuts me off. Next up is Frozen 8. This one is a horror movie, not to be confused with Disney's Frozen and Frozen 2, which are both phenomenal movies. But this one is it's called Frozen, but it's not connected to those at all. This one came out in like 2009 or 2010, something like that. I don't recognize any of the names of the. Well, I do recognize one of them. Shawn Ashmore is in this. He's one of the two Ashmore. There's Aaron and Shawn Ashmore. One of them was in Smallville as Jimmy Olsen, and the other is Iceman in the X-Men movies. Next up, we have Ghost Ship. I just watched this one not too long ago. It has a cool lenticular cover. See Evil. But it has one of those annoying paper cases, but it's lenticular, so it's at least cool compared to the other paper cases that I have. And the movie itself is pretty funny. It's not like pretty funny. Like, funny is not really the right word to use for that, but it's pretty good. That's what I meant to say. It has Carl Urban in it, although it doesn't have his name on the back of here for some reason. But he is in the movie. I like the sound you get when you mess with a particular thing as well. But anyway, very good movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I tried out some of those special features on the disc, which I can't really talk about the special features because it's kind of spoilers for the movie itself. So there you go. Moving on. Next up, we have The Girl in the Crawl Space. It's okay. There's a term called B movies, but if there was a term called C movies, this would be a C movie. It's an okay movie. Yeah, it's okay, but kind of generic. The next three are a trilogy. We have The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, The Girl Who Played with Fire, and The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest. Not sure why the heck you would want to kick a hornet's nest. That sounds like a very, very bad idea. But here's the front of the case and the back of the case for the first one. Front of the case and back of the case for the second one. And the third one here. Okay. Up next is a triple feature of King Kong movies. We have the Jack Black, Peter Jackson directed King Kong here. We have King Kong versus Godzilla from 1963. And we have King Kong Escapes from 1968. I have now seen all three of these. I have not watched the extended cut of this one, but I do still intend to watch that. I have seen the theatrical cuts for all three. And we'll get to this one again, probably at the end of this video, in a couple of cases here, because I have the Ultimate Extended Edition thing. Then we have Godzilla. This one is from 1998, starring Matthew Broderick as one of the human characters. and I don't know the name of the guy, but the guy that plays a Grinch character in this is also or is good at playing bad guys. He was in the original or the first Mission Impossible movie. It's this guy here. I don't know his name, but he is in it. So yeah, good movie. Unique design for Godzilla, and the reason I put this one before a one that where Godzilla looks a lot like a much older version is that's because this one's a 50th anniversary of Godzilla itself, and that's Godzilla Final Wars, and the design for this version of Godzilla appears in this movie, which makes sense as well because it came out in 2004, which means the very first Godzilla movie must have come out in 1954 because this is the 50th anniversary. And this has a bunch of different creatures in it as well. I really enjoyed it. It has a lot of unnecessary explosions. Like I'm pretty sure at one point one of the monsters steps on a fire hydrant and it blows up in a ball of flame. Doesn't make sense, but it's fun. I watch it in English dub and sub. Yeah. Next up is the Ultimate Edition of King Kong, which does have a theatrical cut in here. We got Jack Black, Naomi Watts, and Adrian Brody. And the extended cut is 3 hours and 20 minutes, which adds 12 minutes onto the theatrical cut of 3 hours and 8 minutes. I haven't watched the 3 hour 20-minute cut yet, but I have seen the base theatrical version, and it was very long, but it was pretty good though. Up next we have Godzilla 2014. This is a standalone Blu-ray. I do have a DVD of it as well. This one features Aaron Taylor Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen as a married couple. What's funny about that is this movie came out in 2014, like I stated before, but in 2015, that same pair of actors, Aaron Taylor Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen, play Wanda and Pietro Maximoff, twins, in the MCU. Which Aaron Taylor Johnson's Quicksilver gets killed at the end of Age of Ultron. But it's still really awkward. They go from a married couple to playing twins. That's such a weird dynamic change right there. But hey, it works. So this is a really good Godzilla movie also. And I believe this one kicks off the MonsterVerse. I want to say this is the first in the MonsterVerse collection. So there you go. Next up, I have a 2-movie DVD case. We're only going to talk about one of them because we just talked about this one, Godzilla 2014. But this one also has Godzilla King of the Monsters, which is very, very good. Which I believe came out in like, I want to say 2019. Is that right? Shoot, I don't know. This one has Millie Bobby Brown and Vera Farmiga. Millie Bobby Brown played 11 in the Stranger Things series. And King of the Monsters did come out in 2019. I just found it. Okay. King of the Monsters is a very good Godzilla movie as well. Again, set in the MonsterVerse. I think the whole MonsterVerse is good. This is it, at this point. That is all of the titles that I have brought up right now. It's not all my horror movies, but it's all that we got through everything that's been up here, or that's up here already. So there we go. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm now up to 75 subscribers, I believe, last I checked. And if you make it through all the way through this 2 hour plus video, be sure to put King of the Monsters, like it appears here, King of the Monsters, lowercase or uppercase, doesn't matter. Maybe capital K for king and capital M for monster. Let's do that. Capital K for king, everything else except the M on monsters, lowercase. And in the description down below to prove that you made it all the way through this video. If you only made it halfway, so if you made it to where we talked about the Evil Dead franchise, put Evil Dead Reboot in the comment section. So that way, if you made it to the Evil Dead series, you can just put Evil Dead in the comments. If you made it all the way through, put King of the Monsters. And yeah, for the Evil Dead code phrase, put capital E, evil, capital D for dead, and capital R for reboot. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.